Shit could get hairy.
All right. Things could get hairy. Let's see what else. So if we get here early, I want to go chill out and like play music.
Yeah, actually, the whole Pandora on the TV thing's not working at all for my concentration, which is low. Let's see, so what's our game plan today?
I literally sent you the 5. What is this?
Yep. All right, Hangover. There we go.
Oh, wow. All right.
Spelled moratorium wrong.
I do not care. Cannot stress that enough.
Let's see here. Let's look at the details of Kaepernick's contract. Oh.
Could you hear music then?
Huh?
Could you hear music then?
No.
Like right now, you can't hear music right then.
I hear no music.
Damn.
This is a breakthrough. This is a revolution.
You heard nothing.
I hear the sound of silence in Daniel Palmer's voice.
All right, I'm gonna hit play for 5 seconds.
Nothing. Yep.
That's crazy.
How are you going about this?
Well, I'm trying to share YouTube's in the thing.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just not. I thought it was like something we could all have like background music while we're getting ready, but.
All right. We'll try this one. Anything? Well, you'd have to hear that, right?
I can't hear anything.
You can't hear music right now.
No.
Really? I couldn't hear you talking because I was playing music.
Well, no, I can't hear music. I'm done with this. Yeah, screw that.
You seriously couldn't hear that just now.
Why would I lie about this shit?
I have no idea, but I mean, even if we're like talking to each other and I play something on iTunes, you would think logically you would have to hear it over the speakers.
Why don't? No, I didn't hear a thing.
That's ridiculous.
Science is crazy, Chad.
Yeah, it's a strange thing. Apparently at 4 a.m. I was playing Chili Peppers last night.
It's a pretty good night then.
I mean, yeah. We're not broadcasting to anybody right now, are we?
Good one. We are broadcasting. Do you want me to just...
Okay, then never mind.
Is this the story from Post-Pod? Is this the story from Post-Pod?
Yeah, probably.
We'll save the story for Post-Pod. Just wait on Andrew. I made changes to the schedule. The 6th topic's going to be something I added. And everything else is going to be fine.
I like it. I mean, there's nothing that I'm completely incompetent on further than how I'm normally incompetent, so that's all right.
I wanted you and Andrew. Oh, there he is.
Sorry.
You're fine.
You started early.
I didn't start a little early.
Wait, Andrew's video call just says...
Yeah, the Amalto thing.
Amalto call recorder for Skype.
Yeah, I'm at my office, and so anytime I do any kind of audio, if I plug in my mic, that thing comes on.
Well, for people who are watching, that's Andrew. That's gonna be.
Do we have any viewers?
In chief, ladies and gentlemen.
None yet, but I'm putting the links up now, like on Facebook.
I've got my laptop. Should I get off and get on video?
I don't think anybody cares.
I mean, are you presentable?
I mean, I'm wearing a shirt.
I mean, hey, you know what? That's better than I've seen some of these.
Oh, I'm actually wearing one of the only DudeYouCrazy.net T-shirt we have.
How do I not have one of these? Oh, I still have these fucking green SEC Network T-shirts that I need to distribute amongst y'all.
Because I've only got one Dude You Crazy shirt. I'm gonna order some.
They've been sitting on my kitchen table for 3 months now, and I'm looking at them, and I just need to get rid of them.
Has anybody heard from Jason?
He's in a car?
Yeah, on Facebook he's in a car, taking selfies with his wife, driving to wherever they're driving to.
Nice. I'd expect nothing less.
So I think Jason's possibly out.
Let's put links up. I'm gonna put a Twitter link up, and
I'm gonna get some water right quick.
Andrew. No one cares, chat. Jesus.
It's not a podcast if
Andrew,
chat doesn't get up right before we start to get something to drink.
Yeah, what's your idea? We need some water. What? You've been sitting here for 20 years. You've been sitting here 10 minutes. It never occurred to get water before Andrew showed up. Nope. All right. Fair enough. Ask a stupid question, I guess. What's happening?
All right.
We're hanging over live. Over at I should not write copy. I tell you that much.
Luckily, that's not your calling. God damn, I'm so hungry right now.
Yeah, I'm struggling myself. I have so much to do this week. I actually came into the office to do work on a Saturday. I haven't done that in a while.
I've got like 3 hours of outside the house work to do today and tomorrow, and I'm just baffled and kind of hate my life right now.
Yeah. I feel that.
All right. Chad, do you have a fan on near you, Chad?
What?
Sounds like
my
you have a
AC
fan
is
on.
currently running.
All right, I guess that may be it. Whatever, it's not usual.
Are you?
Okay, you guys ready?
I'm ready to do it.
I'm not. It's a little early for hallucinogens.
Well.
All right, I've got a Facebook link up, a Twitter link up.
I'm tying my shoes, so I'm getting in the zone here.
There will be. I don't see how tying. You know what?
Don't ask.
I try not to.
It's what smarter people refer to as a non sequitur. That for some reason I express that loud.
So who told you that? Who taught you that word? Smarter people. God.
Wait, let me get some water.
All right, you. Oh, and this is why I started broadcasting early. I'm like, you know what? We'll have a great group.
I forgot I was really gonna text you at 11 with like some really ridiculous, outlandish excuse.
I was ready.
Was gonna be there, but my upstairs flooded.
I was eating breakfast. What are you doing? I'm like, nothing.
The upstairs in my new house in Georgia, that is not on a floodplain at all. Well, the upstairs flood. The downstairs is fine.
Yeah, just the upstairs.
We contained the flood. We contained the flooding.
We moved it all up.
The dog drowned.
We didn't really get in front of it.
You should see me. I'm just pushing it upstairs.
So how are you? A large broom and a lot of faith. A large broom and a lot of faith. Well, we froze it first, so it'd be easier to move. All right, let's get started. I'll lead us in. We're going Trey.
What episode is this?
I have to do. Come on, is it 55 really? 55? Have we cranked out 5 more since 50? Is this 55? That's ridiculous.
We've been on a pretty good run.
Yeah, actually doing podcasts.
And blogging sometimes.
I know, right?
When we write, people read it.
We got things on the site. We got things to listen to. Cats are living with dogs. It's craziness. Hey,
Paul's dog is
Andrew,
running upstairs.
Can you access the reviews?
Yes.
Do we have any 5-star reviews? If we don't, then
we haven't gotten one in like years.
Dude, you funny.
Alright, so we go to the
I love Bassin Dog, man. I love Bassin Dog.
Bassin Dog. We should read his every time.
17 ratings.
It's weird that we've got like a lot of ratings over the. Like at one point it was like 9 ratings, and we've gotten more, but nobody leaves a review.
All right, I'm leaving one right now. Hold on. 5-star
We
rating.
will read it.
Wait, how do I leave a review? God, that's America. This is a way more.
Yeah, how do you access the reviews?
I'm giving them a compliment. Anyone who lets a review, I'll leave a compliment for. Because I have no idea how to do this. This is a country. I have no idea how to review this podcast.
I don't give compliments, so I have nothing.
How do I get? Well, hold on. First and foremost, how do I get to the page?
So go to. I just go to iTunes and type in "Dude You Podcast" every time. Because
I'm in my iTunes.
It auto-populates for me when I go on Google Chrome and type IT.
Ooh.
Right? Eat a dick.
Ooh. Shut up.
Okay, I really don't see how to access the ratings there.
So you know how on iTunes, how it says like how popular something is? Like by far our most popular podcast is the True Detective finale recap.
I'm either really proud or really sad. I can't decide. Show an iTunes store. This is ridiculous. I should be able to get to this way easier than I'm having.
Yeah, our last review was August.
I'm so glad we haven't.
August 19th, I think. No, we got one on October 4th, but we read that one. It said, "Not just for dogs. Any college football fans will enjoy."
This is true.
Look at that. Ooh. All right, hold on. Right now, I'm really just more concerned that I can't see this podcast or leave it. Okay, hold on. Ratings and reviews. All right. I see you, iTunes. How do I write a review? All right, hold on. Title. I don't know my password to get in there. That work? Yeah, or maybe it didn't. I don't know. All right. Hold on.
Hold up. Let's see if we
Wait,
have.
Palmer, I never asked you. Did you notice when I put the auto-tuned technology singing at the beginning and end of that one podcast?
Technology.
You understand? I don't listen to the podcast.
Oh man, I should have listened to that one.
You've got to really care. I don't listen to our podcast.
It's you you're like complaining about the technology or whatever, and you're like technology, but then it like freezes up like it does with you sometimes, like technology. It's awesome.
Honestly, that was my hook for actually listening to that one, so I listened to it. And it starts out Palmer's technology.
And then I put it twice at the end. I'm going to see if I can find it and play it for you.
No, we've established you can't share sound over this thing.
No, I'm just like pulling it out on my phone.
Oh, fair enough.
All right, here it comes. Wait for it. Can you hear it?
I guess we can all hear it.
Technology. Welcome back to DYC Podcast.
Wow, which one was that?
That was one me, you, and Jason. That was last week's Hangover.
I just left a rating and or review, so let's see if it shows up.
I think it takes
refresh.
Most recent. Yeah, it might take a while.
F3.
All right, we're ready to get started.
We're still at 17 ratings.
All right, whatever. I left one.
Next pod, it'll be there.
Yeah. All right. Welcome back to DYC Podcast. We're back once again with your weekly hangover. We're recapping the week's sports stories with our own personal touch of whimsy. The word whimsy will not appear again in this podcast, I promise. As always, I'm Daniel Palmer, joined with Chad Floyd, and making his a triumphant hangover return, our editor-in-chief, Andrew Hall. Fellas, Andrew, how's everything going? How's the upstairs flooding?
I mean, to be clear, this is my triumphant return to hangover podcasting. So let's be clear on that. I'm looking forward to a whimsical time with you guys.
I said it was a lot of time. No one was.
Happy to be back. Not a lot going on. I'm actually at my office working on a Saturday, so fun stuff.
That sounds miserable. I actually have to work later today too. So, kids, if you're listening, never grow up because all it is working and waiting for time between work. Except unless your name is Chad Floyd. Chad Floyd joining us from Atlanta, Georgia. Chad, what's going on with you in your neck of the woods?
Let's get whimsy. I was actually walking out to go do some work myself, and then I heard the just ominous Skype call that sometimes happens on Saturday mornings, and I said, hey, I should probably join the hangover, so here I am.
Okay, one, it's not Skype. 2, it happens every Saturday morning. 3, you've known about it for at least a week. 4, I gave you topics yesterday. So I don't want to hear this. I was dragged back in the house by my computer making noise like it's some dramatic sacrifice you've made on our behalf.
That's why I hear. That's why I hear. So here we are.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, it's.
Thanks for sharing that. Somehow battling through Chad's non sequiturs, we're going to keep moving forward. First things first, we're going to address the elephant in the site room. The cut took over our site this week was Trey Matthews is released from Georgia. We reported one thing, and then people called us liars, and then we cleared it up. Andrew had an amazing post on Friday that pretty much laid it all to waste. Was it Thursday, Andrew?
I think it was Thursday, yeah.
Thursday,
I don't know. It all runs together.
Yeah. Anyway,
the news cycle doesn't stop.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. 24 hours. It was a great post. It takes a good look at everything that's going on with the with the way media works, especially sports media. Andrew, I know we've got the post up, but I want to give this be our final nail in the coffin, never mention again of this whole situation. And I'm going to let you go first.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those who haven't read the site, I don't blame you, but a lot of people did. Trey Matthews was dismissed Wednesday evening. I was driving home, and I saw the tweet. Don't read tweets and drive, especially during the Georgia offseason. Never ends well. But, he announced that, he said, hey, I'm going to play football either at Auburn or Louisville, and then shortly thereafter we heard that he was dismissed. The next morning I spent some time going back and forth with a guy that I know is a student at Georgia, and he's never been a guy, I didn't even know he read the site or anything like that, but he reached out to me and was like, hey, I was in class with Trey Matthews. Had no idea he was, dismissed, but on this day, same day, he got into a dispute with a teacher, and he kind of told me the story about what happened in class, and so I reported it because it made an awful lot of sense based on what was going on. I had a primary source that I believed to be completely reliable, and I wrote about the disruption that Trey Matthews caused in class. It kind of took off on Twitter, and as things do on Twitter, it was added to, the police escorted him out of class, which was never in our story. That he was standing up cussing at the teacher was never in our story, but kept going and swirling, and I don't know, a lot of mainstream media kind of took some shots saying that it was just a rumor. Even on the radio here in Atlanta, some programs brought it up apparently. Admittedly, I didn't hear them, but they were talking about how the site had reported that, but it was just a rumor. And then all of a sudden the AJC picked up the same story. They got an interview with Trey Matthews. About 10 and a half hours later, they published a story basically with our story. But obviously an interview with Trey Matthews, which is a higher level of integrity, I guess, as far as mainstream media is concerned. But yeah, that was what happened. I mean, I still kind of feel like some of the details in the story that AJC ran were oddly similar to the way we phrased things and the numbers we had, and I don't see them wasting a lot of time talking to Trey Matthews about how many people were in the class. So I kind of feel like, if nothing else, we were the tip that led to the story, but we didn't get any credit, so it happens.
But bigger than anything, it's not even about credit. It's more about people. For a while there, while like you said, the bad game of telephone was going on and things were getting added to the story, we were kind of getting dragged through the mud. These people were reporting he was handcuffed, and we never said that.
Yeah.
And everyone was calling the word. You throwing on the word sources, and we all knew we were the sources, and we kind of watched. And for what it's worth, I don't know what I was doing Wednesday. I think I had a friend over from home, so I wasn't really on the internet. So Thursday morning for me, I saw all this happening, and so I want to tip my cap to Andrew for taking the high road and writing the long post and explaining that we don't care about sources. It's just we don't want to be misrepresented, because I would have taken, as it is to be known, the lowest of low roads and found people who call it out by name. But I want to applaud you. You're a better man than I. Chad, do you have anything to add to the situation? I know it was. For the 48 hours, it was a whirlwind of news, and for some reason we were at the eye of the storm.
I mean, sports journalism is just a race to the bottom at this point, and it's kind of sad. I mean, it really is. And
welcome to the bottom, listeners.
We're slightly higher than that. We maintained our integrity. Hall reported on a story, missed the NBA Finals preview pod because of it. Reported a story as he had heard it. And the AJC just runs with it 10 hours later, citing unreliable sources, more or less. And, as Hall said in the article on Thursday morning, we don't want to be sources. We do this for fun.
Yes.
And when we are sources, all we want is a little credit, guys. All we want is a little credit. But I mean, I've got really nothing to add. I mean, Hall wrote a great piece, and as I said on Facebook, it was probably my proudest moment as a Dude You Crazy contributor. It was a fantastic piece.
I think the only thing I would add is just kind of this macro sense that, for some reason, the AJC and kind of their defense on Twitter was, well, we got the primary source. We got Trey Matthews, the one who's involved in. There's a huge issue, I feel like, in sports media especially, and maybe even more so in college athletics, where a student's reporting of an event as it took place in the same class who witnessed it is not as valuable as the athlete in question. And Trey Matthews, some of his interviews are just absolutely ridiculous. He talks about, I got into an argument with a student in the back of the class, and it escalated, and the professor asked me to leave. But I wasn't disrespectful. And it's kind of like, well, I mean, I don't understand if a professor asks you to leave because you're in an argument that he can hear in the front of the class. I'm not sure where that gets off as being, respectful. But I don't know. It's just kind of an odd paradigm we live in, and I think a lot of it has to do with just the instantaneous nature of news these days where, any source is not a source unless it's the right source, and kind of these arbitrary terms we put on the right source. But I mean, I said it in the post when I wrote it. I said I wouldn't have published this if I didn't have 100% confidence in the guy that was telling me the story. It's not a guy that sends me stuff all the time or has scoop, but
he's incapable of guile.
Yeah, and it's just a little ridiculous that we got dragged through the mud, as Chad and Daniel both pointed out. But I mean, I also will say there were a few sources, especially some other Georgia bloggers who kind of gave us some credit. Some Gentry Estes on 24/7 Sports actually kind of wrote a similar piece to the AJC, but said as was first reported or earlier reported. So, I mean, it's all good. We move on. We move through it, but just kind of a weird – the one time we're actually involved in breaking news, we were just dragged through the mud for it.
All right, so there you have it. A great take on the whole situation. And because we don't self-congratulate that much on a very macro level, we probably won't be mentioning this ever again as far as our part in the story. We want to report the stories. We don't want to be the stories because then people ask questions about my personal life, and I don't want to answer those. Let's move to the elephant on the court. I'm going to keep using elephant metaphors for at least the first half. Cramp game. Game one, LeBron went down with cramps. I have a very strong hot sports take on this. I'm going to let you guys go first. Chad, you and I were texting about this and G-chatting about this right after it happened. What is your take on not only the cramps in game one, but the way the rest of the series unfolds?
I have a hot sports take on the way it plays out in the series, but as far as game one goes, who has ever played AAU basketball, had 2-a-days, had 3-a-days, anything, it is, when you cramp in a sporting event, it is literally impossible to move. Daniel Palmer, have you ever cramped before? Like, I'm just from the Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless kind of hot sports take on this, I have a strong opinion that these guys are idiots.
That is a hot sports take.
I mean, I don't want to say the S word, but it happens. And it's happened to LeBron before, unfortunately. He needs to stop taking sponsorship dollars from Powerade because, that's a whole nother story. But, no, I mean, it completely changed the game and, in my opinion, changed the series.
Oh, really? You think the series is forfeit because of one game?
One game out of 7 that the Heat had a chance to steal a game in San Antonio. Yeah, I absolutely believe that.
You know San Antonio won last year, right?
Yeah, and
okay.
I'm still taking the Spurs in 7. I still think the Spurs are the superior team. But if the Heat had stolen one and taken home court advantage, all of a sudden, me predicting Spurs in 7 doesn't look so good.
They can still steal the next one, right?
Huh?
They can still steal. If they steal the next one, they still get home.
Theoretically possible.
Fair enough. Andrew, you were knee deep in Trey Matthews when this happened, but
that sounds super weird.
Sounds super weird. I'm really glad I said it.
Knee deep in Trigger Trey.
Knee deep. What did you think of not only the cramps happening, but of the Chad walking away during a podcast, but of the almost expected media reaction to it?
It's completely ridiculous. And admittedly, I didn't watch the whole game live, but I actually rewatched the game last night. And what's funny is you kind of have, Van Gundy was kind of talking during the commentary of the game, and just at first, like, we'll see how big of a factor this is. This might be a factor. It's going to be a factor for both teams. And kind of this escalating stance as the place just got hotter and hotter. and finally it culminates with, like, this is really impacting the players. This is impacting the coaches. They're having to sub all the time. And I don't know how you watch the game and hear an expert on basketball like Van Gundy is talk about it and witness it with your own eyes and then see finally someone, and yes, it's LeBron, it's, as he said, the easiest to criticize player in the world. Yeah, it's him, but I don't understand how you, like, even feign any kind of reaction other than just, yeah, it was hot, he cramped up. I mean, I remember watching, I will never forget this, in '96, it was the NCAA men's national championship game, and it was Kentucky, and Tony Delk cramped up. And they kept showing his leg on the sideline, and it looked like somebody had just carved a hole into his quad. I mean, I will never forget that image. I mean, I was whatever age I was, I guess 9 years old, and being like, man, I hope I never get a cramp. And I played basketball. I got cramps. It happens, and you can't do anything. It's unbelievable to me that there's any reaction other than, man, it sucks that it was so hot in there.
And that's my thing, too, is Jeff Van Gundy says, well, Jordan doesn't have these moments. You know, Jordan would rise up and get through the cramp. He'd play through it. No, when you have a cramp, you can't move.
Jeff was reiterating his point from earlier. I want to say this about the whole cramping thing. I want to say this. First of all, the underrated subplot of the whole thing was watching the people of San Antonio slowly melt in their chairs.
Oh, yeah.
The action of the court was great, but watching the fans just not just suffer, but, like, you're like, maybe we should, like, talk to someone, because, like, there are people in this stadium who should be leaving. Like, there's, like, I get it, it's a basketball game, you paid a lot of money for these tickets. Go get some water. Like, go get a breath of fresh air. I need you to be okay.
You could see the fans debating whether it was better to sit still or to fan themselves. It was that hot. You could see their thoughts.
It's really just a meltdown. Two, like you said, it affected the substitution patterns, and it was funny to watch Pop adjust, but it kind of reminded you that this Heat has one of their players. A lot of their pieces can move, but there's one player who is irreplaceable for the Heat because Spo wasn't going to pull him until he had to, and once he pulled him, it was kind of fast the point of no return. It's like, oh, we're not going to be rehabbing you getting back out there. Your leg won't work. Three, all right, to anyone, and I mean anyone, I get the social media is fun, and memes are fun, and saying things on your radio show or television show can be fun. I'm going to take the guy who played 100 NBA games over the last 4 years, each year, included with a gold medal. I'm going to take his word for how tired and sore he was over the casual observer, probably eating nachos, because nachos are delicious, not judging nachos, but stating, I would never happen to me, you have to drag me off the court. They did drag him off the court. And lastly, and people, if you're listening to this audio, I want you to go to video, find me if this is you. If you're one of these people who seriously thinks LeBron James is anti-clutch or isn't the best player in the world, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go find your nearest mirror, look yourself square in the eyes, and tell yourself to shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. You don't know what you're talking about, and you're causing me brain bleeds. I don't need to deal with it anymore. All right, Game 2 is coming up on Sunday. I still think the Heat are going to win in 7. Chad's takes the Spurs in 7. Andrew, you were too busy being wrist deep in Trey Matthews.
God, that's even worse.
It's so much worse. But who do you? So you missed the pregame, the preview pod. What's your take in the series?
I just still can't go against the Heat. I mean, I don't care what happened. Obviously, the Heat beat the Heat the other night, and Yeah, I've been waiting to say that one all week.
I could tell. All right, let's move on to our next topic. Chad Floyd, this one is near and dear to your heart. Rashad McCants came out, proved that you can be crazy, you can be a snitch, you can be half drunk, but you probably can also tell a little bit of truth when he said that he took no-show classes and paper classes and people write papers for him at UNC. Chad, defend the house.
All right. I'm glad you invited me to defend this because I mean, this is a nationwide issue with amateur sports that we could have a credible on and have about 5 hours of podcasting. As it applies to Rashad McCants. Rashad McCants is the credible source that prior to his junior year in college, compared college to a prison, saying, when I wake up, I have to go to class, and then I have to go to practice, and then I have to work out. It's like I'm imprisoned up in here, was more or less his exact quote. I mean, yesterday on Twitter, you know, there's the initial backlash, and then Michael Wilbon comes out and says, of all possible people to come out and speak ill of UNC, this is the least credible source you could possibly have. Greg Doyle says pretty much the same thing. This is just rehashing of the same story that we've been dealing with for 4 years, beating a dead horse, and Rashad McCants is a guy who blamed Roy Williams for getting him blackballed from the NBA after he was a lottery pick. He was top 5 in the NBA in points per 36 minutes his second year in the league and still flamed out the next year. It's really hard to do that unless you just completely suck as a human being, and Rashad McCants is the lowest of human beings.
Wow.
And
ladies and gentlemen, take notes. This is how you defend your school against something that you know they've done wrong.
No, the dead horse has been beaten. We know we fucked
Chad
up.
needs a job with the NCAA.
Yeah, dude. You go work for them right now. Ignore the points. Attack the guy who's making the points. Bravo,
Okay,
Chad.
we know
politics.
I mean, we know people take sham classes as amateur athletes. That's not a surprise. And I say amateur with
drunk undergrads.
I mean, that's not a shock to anybody. I just wish I had known which classes this was so I could boost my own GPA. That being said, of all people to come out and be the source of this, Rashad McCants is the least reliable source you could possibly imagine. He is
All right.
just a world-class just piece of shit.
Wow, get to the corner. Andrew and I, you're out of the rest of the conversation. You're too close.
I got nothing. I can't do that.
How do you follow that, though? Like, really?
I don't.
It was textbook deflect and attack. This isn't about us. Everyone does it. Deflect. Rashad McCants is the lowest of the low. Attack. I applaud you. I've watched a lot of West Wing lately, and you'd fit right in, at least on the smarming political side. I will say this: we attacked Jose Canseco's credibility when he said that everyone was juicing, and he was right.
No, I'm not. I mean, he's.
I know. Everyone knows what you're saying. You said it 4 times. You said it virulently. No need to clarify. I'm making my separate, completely non-contentious point right now. I need you to just. I promise you, I'm not attacking UNC. I'm not attacking alma mater. Just trust me.
And it's fine if you do. Like I understand that this happens everywhere. Like I'm not. But of all people,
it's been a long week for Chad. So we're gonna move on to a new segment I'm introducing this week because I like to laugh and watch people think of funny things. Hypothetically speaking, I give the guys a hypothetical. They tell me what they do with it. Andrew, we're gonna start with you. Would you rather fight 1 horse-sized tarantula or 100 tarantula-sized horses? Go.
Oh, give me the tarantula-sized horses. Horses don't scare me.
There we go. They're adorable. There's 100 of them. Chad, same question.
Unfortunately, I've got the same answer because spiders terrify me, and horses not so much. I mean, a horse-sized tarantula is going to have fangs like 4 feet long. I'm not about that.
Not to scale. We're gonna remind everyone that we are not doctors or scientists. We don't actually what if tarantulas have fangs. I don't know. But, all right, so we're going to do this more often and probably better hypotheticals. That's always my favorite one because it reveals who of my friends is a psychopath and takes the horse-sized tarantula. I'm glad to see both of you guys pass the friend test. And we're going to move on to something that's near and dear to my heart. I want to say something right now. I love basketball. I love hockey. I love all these sports. I love talking off-season stuff. Football, I miss you. I love you. And this is about us, football. Like, I'm not... They're just here now. I'm waiting. I'm ready for you. I'm waiting. Please come back to me. Let's talk a little football. Colin Kaepernick signed a big contract. Everyone's heads exploded. And then the next day, people were like, well, it's not as big as everyone thought it was. And he's leaving cap room. So is he super unselfish or is he stupidly not greedy? Andrew Hall, I'm team get them checks. I'm always going to be team get them checks. And guaranteed money is better than not guaranteed money because that's the only real money that's out there. Stay out of the chat room, kids. Andrew, was this an appropriate amount of money for Mr. Kaepernick?
Yeah, I mean, when it first came out, I thought it was a little bit ludicrous, but then you found out the structure and how it's so team-friendly. I feel like it's fair. I feel like he's gone out of his way to maybe find the security. It clearly shows his confidence in himself as well as the team's, high expectation of him. It's one of those rare times where I think you have a young quarterback who's wanting to get paid at what could be a record level, but at the same time is willing to kind of put the team first and say, hey, this is on me. I've got to develop. So I'm a big fan of the contract.
That's a very fair take for a less charged and hopefully more level-headed response from his last response. Chad, what do you think about Colin Kaepernick? He did not go to UNC, so relax.
Well, first of all, when you said cap room, I kind of chuckled. But $61 million guaranteed is not chump change. And, for a guy who realizes he is not the absolute, he's not the key piece to the 49ers, I think it's a fair contract for both sides, and you rarely see that with quarterbacks in the NFL. And I salute him, and I salute the 49ers for getting a job done that, quarterback is the position that you pay an extreme premium in the NFL, and I think they came to an amicable agreement that you rarely see these days.
Yes, because most of them, I'm not going to make fun of you there. But I will say this, his year and a half as a starter, he's been to one NFC title championship game and made a Super Bowl and damn near won it. I think it's a steal at the price of the years they locked up. If they can keep it, up, this is going to be something great for them. And the big question now, I think, for the Niners is how long before Harbaugh burns out his guys? Because where he's been, it seems like that's something that happens, and that his attitude towards the game can be kind of grating on people. Next topic is straight whimsy. That's right, I brought it back, as we call continuity here in the business. It was like NFL's dropping the Roman numeral for Super Bowl 50. Chad, does this matter at all?
No.
Fair enough. Chad,
Nope.
Quick question. Do you know the Roman numeral for 50?
Is it L?
It is L. Look at you.
Yeah.
First of all, I think that could have been great because we're a country that loves our big things, and if we just said it's a large Super Bowl, doesn't that sound better? Doesn't that sound more impressive?
Well, here's the thing. If you get to a point where you have Super Bowl LLLL, it's just the Buffalo Bills. But
that's prepared material. We applaud it here at Dude Your Podcast, and I appreciate the effort. That's great. Andrew, are you more for leaving the L or going to the 50?
I don't really care one way or the other. I was trying to think of how a logo would look with an L, and the only thing I could come up with is maybe having super run down the Y-axis and bowl across the X-axis inside a big old L. Otherwise, it just looks weird.
That's not horrible though. I think it's funny that every year, if you look at when the Super Bowl is, you see a spike in the same Google result for someone explain any Roman numerals?
Yeah.
The thing that weirds me out is they're going back for 51. Like, I think once you've made the move, you kind of got to embrace it, right? Like, it's no longer L, then it's 50. Then guess what? 51's going to look strange too, unless you do it in Long Island, then it kind of fits. I don't know. I've never thought this probably. All right, last one. I didn't put this on the list, but it's true. Phillip Rivers a year and a half ago was like an older quarterback. He kind of washed out in the league. He'd seen his best days. He and Norv Turner couldn't quite get over the hump. Threw a bunch of interceptions. This year, he had a new coach, new running game. He kicked the ball backwards as a lateral, and now he's been caught on tape in shorts, knee-high socks, and a fake mullet playing beer league softball. The question I have is, do I like Phillip Rivers now?
You have to.
Andrew, those are all things that I find endearing and or hilarious. Am I a Phillip Rivers fan?
You have to be. I mean, the thing I like most about Major League Baseball, and I have a point to this.
I assume you do.
The thing I like most about Major League Baseball is when the teams get together and decide that they're going to travel in costume. That's my favorite part about Major League Baseball. So, I mean, here you have that on a small scale where all of a sudden Phil Rivers says, you know what? I'm going with it. I'm a big fan.
Also, he mixed in bolo ties this year, which I think was the most alpha male move I've seen on a football sideline in a long time. Chad, do you like Phillip? Mind you, we have to remember that Phillip Rivers is like a petulant child who screams at his own players and gets in yelling matches with people across the field. Like, he's on his face unlikable. Plus, he was in his face. So, Chad, can you If you're there, then I'm in. Do you like Philip Rivers now?
Philip Rivers is my least favorite player in the NFL for the reasons that you.
Back to earth, Chad.
He's the Rashad McCants of the NFL.
That being said, Philip Rivers is reaching a level of self-awareness that I can take my hat off and salute the fact that he has, at 32 years old, matured out of being a 6-year-old and is reaching a slight level of self-awareness, possibly. That's all I've got for Philip Rivers. Otherwise, I'm going to sound like more of an idiot than I did during the McCants rant. But I'm not a Philip Rivers fan. I will never be a Philip Rivers fan, and I'm glad he's getting self-aware. That's great. I'm happy.
Chad pulled me right back out. I was in for like 27 seconds. Andrew was in with me. I hate him again. I hate him all over again. Thanks for joining us again.
I've got a quick Philip Rivers story.
Here we go.
My sister went to college with Philip Rivers. When Philip Rivers was a freshman, my sister was also a freshman this year, he would walk around NC State's campus offering autographs because, and I quote, "Someday I'm going to be famous and you're going to want this."
He's a prophet.
He was right.
He was right. Having said that, who says that?
Well, clearly not you because you're not famous, but Phil knew. That's confidence. That's confidence. Those you need under center. Hot takes. All right, guys. Thanks for coming on. Well, we're here every Saturday at noon. We do it, the Weekly Hangover. We take some sports stories, make fun of them. Always find us at jujucrazy.net. There's tons of writing over there. Follow me at dpalm66, Chad at Chad_Floyd, and our site runner and editor-in-chief, Andrew Hall, at jujucrazy on Twitter. Do me a favor, listen on Podomatic, on Spreecast, on Stitcher, on iTunes. Hit that little subscribe button so you keep getting them every week. Leave us comments and 5-star reviews. Haven't had any comments with the 5-star reviews since October. I left one this morning that hasn't loaded yet, so we'll read that next week. I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah, thanks for coming on, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you guys next week.